You remember back in August when you had your fantasy football draft and you felt like this? Yippee! And now after 8 weeks of NFL football, you feel like this? Come on, man, damn it. I get it, it's tough, but you know what? I got what you need. Week 8, waiver wire. Let's go, baby. Cover one crew, what is going on? Hope everybody's doing awesome out there as per usual. I get it, the injuries are piling up. It is very, very difficult to find those replacement players, but I got you covered. We got week number 8 waiver wire must-add players on the horizon, and let's go. Let's kick it off with running backs as per usual. I mean, it's tough because we're scraping the bottom of the barrel, I'm telling y'all, man. But Gus Edwards, he found his way to glory. And this Baltimore backfield is very interesting. The coaching staff and John Harbaugh, they love themselves some Gus Edwards. 28% ownership rate. I've been telling you guys 4 weeks in advance that this guy should have been on your bench. If you didn't listen and he's still on your waiver at 28% ownership, you're going to have to pony up a lot of fab dollars to get his services, especially for all those Breece Hall owners who lost him on the ACL. It's going to suck. You're going to have to overpay for Gus, which will likely be about a 4-week, 5-week stretch until JK comes back. Then you're going to see an open, timeshare in this backfield. So I don't know, man, 50% at minimum, if not higher, because I get it, man. Running backs are at a premium. You're going to have to pay the big dollars to get him off the fab dollars. 18.6 points in that comeback trail. He looked good. The knee looked good. So you can't hate it. Gus Edwards is the top pick off the waiver this week. Deontay Foreman, he had himself a day versus those Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Maybe Tampa's just that bad. I'm done with them. I was preaching them to, at least do some damage. They got to figure stuff out before I'm going to preach them up. But Foreman is a good running back, and I think between the two of them, Chuba Hubbard did nick up his ankle, if I'm not mistaken. So they're saying it's day-to-day, so hopefully he will play as well. But Foreman, because he came out of this game unscathed and he is healthy, he is the top running back in Carolina at this point. 41.8% ownership rate, so he will likely be there in a lot of leagues, but again, you're going to have to pay some heavy premium. I do got Cam Akers on this list at 58%. Usually I don't have anybody over 50% on my list, but Cam Akers will likely get dealt before the trade deadline. He will likely be on your waiver wire in a lot of leagues. If you can spare the space for another couple of weeks, depending on where he lands, this could be a gem in the making. Look on your wire, see if Cam is sitting there and scoop him up and stash him until the trade deadline. If he doesn't get dealt, then okay, you can drop him back on the wire. But this one could be a sneaky play. Get him on your roster just in case. Like I said, Chuba Hubbard dealing with that ankle. He is another one you got to get on your roster as well, even though, hopefully he will play this week, but it's going to be a full timeshare split between the two of them. We even saw Blackshear. He was getting some touches as well, but it's going to be Foreman and it's going to be Hubbard for the most part. Tyler Algier, I don't understand these Atlanta Falcons. They were down by like 1,000 points and they still want to establish the run. Y'all be crazy in Atlanta, but okay, he still is one of these guys. He got his touchdown. He is going to be the back until Cordero comes back, and even then he'll get some sprinkles. So he might give you one more week. I think Patterson will be coming back in the next couple weeks, if I'm not mistaken. So it's going to be short-lived. Do not give up lots of fab for him. Latavius Murray is a definite add this week. Now that Mike Boone found himself in the medical room as well, you got to add yourself some Latavius Murray, even though the Denver Broncos are a porous offensive unit. They are playing in London this week, and Murray, he got himself a touchdown there last time. Second trip to London for Lat, so hopefully he's going to find his way back to glory. Kyron Williams, again, he's got to be a player. It's a late bench stash. You can add. Hopefully he's going to give you some value. If he is on the waiver, he should be basically under 20% ownership. The Rams will utilize him once he is back on the field, coming off the IR, so he is definitely a bench stash. What did we learn from the Breece Hall situation that he tore his ACL? This one hurts, man. Hurts me as well. I had a lot of shares of Breece Hall. Now you got to start looking at some handcuffs as we enter week 8. These guys are going to get nicked up. They're going to get injured, and we got to find the replacements. You got to find room on your roster to hold some handcuffs now as we get closer to the fantasy football playoffs. Alexander Mattison is a massive handcuff just in case, knock on wood, Dalvin Cook goes down with injury. He is definitely one you want to handcuff as well. I got Ty Johnson. He's going to be again in the backfield of the New York Jets, but the trade did go down before I could change my graphics. But I mean, they traded for James Robinson from the Jacksonville Jaguars, so it's going to be Robinson and it's going to be Michael Carter in this backfield. So Ty Johnson, you can leave him on the waiver wire at this point. Scratch that one off. James Cook and Kenneth Gainwell. So Gainwell again, handcuff priority on this man right now, just in case something happens to Miles Sanders. You're going to have Kenny Gainwell. James Cook, keep him on the wire right now. He is on the watch list once again, but if he does pop, you're going to have to pay some dollars. So if you got room, there's not a bad situation to be stashing a James Cook if you have the room. Wide receivers, Wan'Dale Robinson, 21% ownership. I told y'all last week he needed to be added. Now he's starting to pick up steam in this offense, and he's reliable enough to be your flex play right now. And this could grow and morph into something that much more better now that Daniel Jones, and the important thing with Daniel Jones, we got to say, because Brian Daboll's done very well in educating this man to not turn this ball over. That is the biggest problem in Daniel Jones' career so far. The interceptions, the fumbles. Now it's the safe throws. The average depth of pass that he has right now is one of the lowest in the entire league because Daboll has instructed him to just take the safe throws. They will move this offense with Saquon Barkley, and then you see Daniel Jones ran for 100 yards first time in his career this past week. This is all good news for this offense and a Wan'Dale Robinson. 15.2 points in 2 weeks is not bad. It will increase as the weeks go on. Wan'Dale needs to be on your roster. Next one is Mecole Hardman, if you could believe this. I know Kansas City's on the bye. This is good news for additions for a Mecole Hardman. Why do I have him here? 54.9 points. Yes, it was game script last week, this past week against San Francisco 49ers, where Hardman scored 3 touchdowns, man, in that contest, 2 running, 1 receiving. But the thing is that I'm saying, I said it last week as well to some of my friends, and I said they are utilizing Mecole Hardman. Andy Reid is like Tyreek Hill now. I don't know what the holdup was. Now all of a sudden, the jet sweeps, the motions in the backfield, they're starting to utilize him the same way they use Tyreek. Is Mecole Hardman Tyreek Hill? Heck no, he is not. But as long as they're giving him the opportunity with that former Tyreek Hill role, this is good news for Mecole Hardman, and he should be able to put up points in a Kansas City offense that looks like they're figuring stuff out. Mecole Hardman definitely needs to be on your roster, and you might get him pennies on the dollar because Kansas City's on the bye and others may look elsewhere because they got injury troubles. Hardman is a definite own. Tyquan Thornton, okay, he didn't have a great game on Monday Night Football, but again, put him on the watch list. I think he could do better. It's his quarterback situation with Mac Money Jones and Bailey Zappi. I mean, it's Zappi. It's not good, so we'll see. Thornton, just put him on the watch list again. Reynolds from the Detroit Lions, now that DJ Chark is on the IR. Reynolds has just been putting up numbers, man. Almost 50 points. It's good enough to at least have in a flex spot as well. You can flirt with that. Paris Campbell found his way back to life. My guy, Paris. He's starting to look a little bit better, but we got some, shake up in the quarterback room in Indianapolis. Matt Ryan is on the bench, so we'll see. I would also put Paris on the watch list right now. I would not rush to the waiver to pick up his services, but he is producing, and I'm a fan of Ellinger. I think that he could be something decent enough to support this offense better than what we see with Matt Ryan. Is he going to be great? It's highly unlikely at this point, but don't fade this man just yet. Let's see what he can do on the field. Hopefully he can support these wide receivers. Elijah Moore is an add this week as well. Hopefully it's a stash and with heavier production, but the Jets lost Breece Hall. They lost the bread and butter, which was the run game. Zach Wilson does not look good right now. He has taken a step back. Yes, the Broncos defense is very good in the secondary, so I'm going to chalk that up as a one-off again for a Zach Wilson. But he needs to show me a lot more. Now that Corey Davis is injured, Garrett Wilson and Elijah Moore should take the bulk load of the targets, especially if they can't get this run game going. Elijah Moore, I think, think at 47%, if he's there, I think you got to add him. Just keep him on your bench with a hope and see. Goodwin, Marquise Goodwin, former Buffalo Bill. He's making waves in Seattle because now DK is gone. This is a big one as well. He caught himself a touchdown pass. Geno looks absolutely fantastic. What can you say? Good for Geno. He found his, late blooming career statistics. He's looking good. Godwin could have a definite role on this team now that DK is gone. It will be hit and miss likely every week. Lockett will probably be the default number one, but Godwin will get some receptions to come his way. He is that deep threat, so it will be high-end boomer bust, but it is high upside, no kidding. Van Jefferson is coming off the IR, and he will be activated shortly. This is good news for the LA Rams pass game. Now you're going to add a Van Jefferson that has chemistry with a Matthew Stafford, so hopefully he can provide some elixir to this offense that they desperately require. Zacchaeus, like I said, he is a decent PPR guy. 40 points for only under 2% ownership. He's reliable enough to give you the 7 to 10 points half PPR. So this is not a bad thing. Full PPR, he's giving you almost 10 points a week these days. So he is definitely one that you can look at if you're in a pinch. Excuse me, and you need to add somebody to your roster, man. Jameson Williams, like I said, he will be activated likely mid-November. So again, you probably have a couple weeks to put him on the watch list, but he is under-owned right now. As soon as he gets back on the field, and hopefully he is healthy, he could turn heads and make some waves. Quarterback time, we got Daniel Jones. I will not call him Danny Pennies this week because he's starting to look good. He's picking up his game. 121 points on the waiver wire. You can't hate that whatsoever. 34.4% ownership rate. And excuse me again, with all the quarterback issues that we're seeing right now in the NFL, the supreme rushing upside that Daniel Jones will provide you is good enough to get you the 15-point threshold for streaming quarterback players. I do like Daniel Jones this week. They should be able to have a very good contest. They got a decent matchup. I think they're going to pick up where they left off. And Daniel Jones, like I said, he's making all the safe throws, so you can trust it to at least get to that 15-point threshold, which will help your team. Marcus Mariota had a little bit of a dump game this past week, but again, I didn't understand what was going on. They only threw the ball 13 times when they were down by like 1,000 points. You should have had at least Mariota throwing 30 times in that game. We could have seen inflated stats. That's completely on the coaching staff to continue to run the ball. I don't know what they were thinking, but Marcus Mariota has another good matchup this week. I am definitely suggesting he is a viable stream option once again this week. Tannehill, not so much. I mean, we got to see a little bit more. He did get nicked up on that game last week, but again, he's the game manager, kind of losing that step. So, I mean, if you're really struggling, then fine, I get it, but I would look in other directions. He's just on the notable list for all the quarterback needy teams in this in your fantasy football league. Jameis Winston is the interesting one because the New Orleans Saints haven't really clarified who they're going to start. They keep going back to Andy Dalton, Mr. INT, looking like Matt Schaub of the old, and throwing pick sixes like it's going out of style. It's time for Jameis Winston to get back on the field. Let's see what Jameis can do. He's got a better arm. He's got, at least he's going to throw the ball down the field and get you points for fantasy productivity. I like Jameis to start. Get him in the lineup. If he starts again, I think he's going to be a very good, viable streaming quarterback once again. Tyler Heineke finds his way back to the good graces. 15 points. That's a boom. He hit a boom game, and I mean, he didn't look great. First game action, but he found Terry, and this was the thing, man. He finds Terry McLaurin on the regular because they have that chemistry. He's going to take that shot downfield. Heineke is definitely somebody you can look at and matchup play. You're not going to trust it every week because he's going to turn the ball over. That's just what he does. He's a gunslinger type of quarterback himself, but I mean, if you're stuck again, Heineke is not someone you can look away from. PJ Walker, 19.8 points. He had a good game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneer defense that's supposed to be pretty good. This offense in Tampa Bay is supposed to be pretty good. But, I mean, again, P.J. Walker gives you the rushing upside. He's got a very good arm, and they're going to start force-feeding DJ Moore. Like I said on the start-sit video, it's going to be force-feeding DJ Moore because there's literally nobody else anymore. But, I mean, P.J. Walker, you can look at it. Again, rushing upside quarterback with a cannon of an arm. There is potential upside here as well. Sam Ehlinger, I'm just putting him on the watch list just because it's fun for all you super flex fantasy players who lost Matt Ryan as your quarterback. Now you got to replace him. I mean, you can do a lot worse than Sam Ehlinger, man. The tight end room is basically the same. every single week right now. Hayden Hurst, 56%. Typically, I don't put guys over 50, but he is the best one on the wire right now at 56% ownership, 34.6 points. He's going to give you that consistent floor week in, week out. And if you got a tight end right now in fantasy giving you 8 or 9 points, you're smiling because it's very difficult outside of the Travis Kelce's to get those massive numbers. But he is a good one. If he's still there, go and get his services if you're streaming or struggling with tight ends as well. Evan Ingram, again, he's on the list only because I think he provides the most upside in this Jaguar offense that now without a James Robinson, they've given the backfield to a Travis Etienne. They're going to start spreading the ball around. They just try to get, Trevor Lawrence more comfortable in the scheme. Evan Ingram will eventually, he had 7 targets last week, so you can't hate that. It's just he only caught 4 balls. So if he catches 7 for 7, that's an 80-yard, day for a tight end. That's decent numbers in half PPR leagues. If he finds the end zone, you're smiling ear to ear because that's very good. So I believe the upside for Evan Ingram is very good again this week for streaming tight end players like I am. Mike Gesicki, Hunter Henry, Irv Smith, Otten, Dulcich, and then, what else can you say? These guys are all interchangeable pieces. Henry really didn't do much on Monday Night Football. Gesicki, again, took a step back because Tua was starting to force feed Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and, throw into the Pittsburgh Steelers defense that was dropping everything. I get it, but Irv Smith is an interesting play as well. We'll see if they start to integrate his play a little bit more in this Minnesota Vikings offense. I want to see it a little bit more before I can trust it for Irv Smith. Otten, what I say, if you're in full PPR leagues, he can be trustworthy to give you that 8-point floor. The PPR game that, at least Tom Brady's going to find the tight end that can catch the ball in, check downs and safe throws, hot reads. You're going to see Otten get those points, no kidding. Dulcich right now, I got to see a lot more. Obviously, this Denver Broncos offense, I want no part of, so I'm going to leave that to you guys if you want it. But Chris Myarick, he is one guy you got to look at because the Giants did lose Daniel Bellinger. He's got a broken eye socket. Ouch, man, that's got to hurt. Someone poked him right through the eye, broke his eye socket, so he's going to be out indefinitely, and you need a replacement play for the tight end position in New York. Myarick is one of these guys I think you're going to be able to basically trust the same way we were starting to gain trust on Bellinger. They utilize the tight end in this Dable offense, so you're going to see more targets go his way because what did I say before? They're giving Daniel Jones the safe throws to make, and he's starting to make them, so you can't hate that whatsoever. So there you have it. That is week number 8, waiver wire must-add players, and I get it, man. It is tough out there with all the injuries. If you're one of the unfortunate managers who have lost a lot of talent due to injury, I feel for you, but there are players to replace them with. We got to look at the matchups. I'm giving you some talent that you can plug and play, especially in your flex spots, to give you 10 points or more per week. It's going to be good. So take my advice, follow the matchups, and hopefully we'll get you some more wins. But nevertheless, as always, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, jump in those comments, and we'll see you next time. I am out.